Did you catch the last 3 weeks of color swatching the Daniel Smith Primatech and Duochrome watercolors? It's one of my favorite ways to de-stress and explore without any destination in mind. When you want to create something but you're feeling stuck, check out the previous videos to see how easy and relaxing color swatching can be. This week, I'm going to play around with some of the colors that were mixed with the buff titanium and quinacridone burnt orange. I love giving myself limitations because it expands my creative flow. To do that, I'm picking two colors plus the buff titanium and the quinacridone burnt orange. So let's see what happens when I add in Rhodonite Genuine and Mayan Blue Genuine. I also grabbed some mark making supplies to add color on top of the paint, a Pigma Micron pen, some Neocolor crayons, and some Sennelier oil pastels. New videos are coming out every Tuesday, so make sure you like and subscribe to watch them all. Here is the swatch page from the first week where we did gradients from dark to light. And then we moved on the next week to mixing buff titanium into our colors to make these earthy pastels in the circles. And then last week we added quinacridone burnt orange to make those gorgeous earth shades. Today I'm going to do some color studies and I'm picking Mayan Blue Genuine, Rhodonite Genuine, and the buff titanium and the quinacridone burnt orange to play around and see what color combinations I can get and which ones I like better and which ones I don't like as much. And so this is a really intuitive exercise. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be a way to create with mindfulness and to be present in your work. And so that's why I limited the colors to two of the colors plus the burnt orange and the buff titanium. I pulled out some of my mark making supplies like the Neocolor crayons and the Sennelier pastels and my Pigma Micron pen just to add extra marks on top of the colors that I'm going to be making. I tried to pick ones that would be similar to the color palette that I'm going to have. So first I'm going to just get some pencil marks on the page. That always helps me get started. And then for this first color study, I'm just going to use the Mayan Blue Genuine, the buff titanium, and the quinacridone burnt orange. I'm not going to add in the Rhodonite Genuine yet because I just want to see what colors I can get with the blue. So all you need to do to make a color study is just kind of lay down color on your page and don't really think about it. You're not creating a painting, you're just playing with color. So you can add more water, more paint, less paint to get different shades. It's all about playing on the page. This is a sketchbook, which means it doesn't matter. Nobody else needs to see it. It's just for you. So have fun with this. So there we go. I mixed the Mayan blue with the quinacridone burnt orange and got that olivey brown color. You can see you can add more water and spread your colors out. You can add more blue to your mix, and look at that, it made a lovely green color. That's beautiful. Color studies are a way to just play with all the different kinds of combinations you can make because it's not set in stone. You give yourself these little limitations and then just go for it and see what happens. You can practice touching the wet colors to see how they blend together. So I'm going to add in some of the buff titanium now to see what other colors I can get to add to this color study. So you can see that that's a bit creamier than the other colors so far. It's all about variety. I love variety. If you can make different places of contrast, different marks, it makes it more fun for you and more fun to see what the results are. So just using the Mayan blue with the burnt orange is giving all of these really muted earthy colors. There is a pretty, oh, that's like the pine green, teal green, dark teal. If you remember from swatching last week, that was one of my favorite mixes that we got. So pretty. But yeah, so if you're going for an earthy, muted painting and you were doing this color study, you would already see, okay, well, these colors are going to work for that painting that I'm going to do. And so color studies can help you prepare for a painting. So you're using way less paint just to play around with this than a full-on painting. So you're saving your supplies. You are doing this without thinking too much about it, I hope. So you're more free to find some new color combinations and putting the colors next to different areas on the page. You may find combinations that you wouldn't have thought of before. That's why playing with color is so fun, because there's always surprises. You never know when you're gonna put a color next to another one that you never would have thought of on your own, but just because you're working intuitively, it shows up and you are thrilled by that result. So this orange with the buff titanium is really pretty, especially next to that teal. Can you see that? Those two colors together are gorgeous. They play off of each other because they're complements. Orange and blue are complementary colors. When you put them next to each other, they really help each other stand out. Let's see, I'm going to add some marks with these Neocolor crayons. This is a good way to test color as well. You can add your different color marks on top of your different color paint to see if you like it mixed together, if you like it layered that way, because sometimes you will and sometimes you won't. So I like the green on top of that neutral tan, but the red on the red or on the orange didn't look so great because you can't really see it. On top of that green, it looks a lot better. If you're using oil pastels, you need to add them on last because your paint will not stick to them. They're really lovely to work with. They give you a good creamy textury look. And I'm not really thinking about what marks I'm doing. I'm just adding color just to see what's going to happen. So there is the earthy tone one with just the Mayan blue. I think that's it for that one. on the next page, I'm gonna play with the Rhodonite Genuine. So just the Rhodonite, the buff titanium, and the quinacridone burnt orange, but no Mayan blue this time. I just want to see what colors I can get with Rhodonite only. So that is a very pink color, which I don't typically paint with, so I probably wouldn't use that on its own. But it's good to play around with and see if maybe I would like it next to another color. And that may be one of your favorite colors, which is why art is so amazing, why we are all creative. We all have that creative spark inside of us, because what I like is different from what you like, and that's all good. There's the more pastel earthy pink. I would definitely be more inclined to paint with that color than the bright one. And that was the Rhodonite mixed with the buff titanium to get that pastel shade. There's my quinacridone burnt orange with the buff titanium mixed in. So this palette is going to be all oranges and pinks because I have the orange and the pink and the buff titanium. So it's going to be a very warm palette, which would make it an analogous color palette. And analogous means that the colors are next to each other on the color wheel. So on the color wheel, you would see red and orange and yellow next to each other. It's a good way to make a first color palette or to just explore if you're more experienced. So I'm playing with the darks and the lights to see how they blend together, how they spread together. So it's spreading really nicely into that lighter area. Looks so pretty. And that the orange there looks really nice next to the pastel pink. I did not have a plan for this. I am just playing with color, and that's what I want you to try. It's a practice like yoga. I definitely think of creativity or a creative practice like a yoga practice where you just show up and you work at your skill level and just find presence and mindfulness in the moment while you are doing your poses in a yoga studio or playing with color like we are doing today. You can have a creative practice because you are creative. All you need is a sketchbook, a few colors, and you can do this too. You can add darker paint on top of lighter paint to see the effects you can get there. Dots. I love dots. I'm not sure what it is about them, but I do have dots in my work a lot. And that actually looks, I like those two colors layered on top of each other. Look at all the blending going on in the middle there. It's so pretty. As you play, you'll start to recognize what marks you like to make. And so I've been doing this for a long time, and I know that I like stripes, I like dash marks, I like dots, I like scribbles, and you may like all different kinds of things than that. You might like triangles and geometric shapes and squares, which I would love to hear what you like to do, what you think your marks are. Tell me in the comments what marks you like to do when you're playing. I don't paint with just warm colors too often, but this is really pretty. See if I can add, it's a really bright pink, but let's see what it does. Okay, it looks kind of cool with that orange. Oh, it broke. Whoops. I thought I would like that more than I do. I actually don't like that color with the other ones. It's a little too greenish for me on this piece. But I like the pink ones. Let's see what I can do with this micron pen. Some of it's still wet, so I gotta find a dry spot. The micron pens are fun to work with. They're really fine tip if you get a variety pack. And so you can make really fine lines. You can do dots. You can do drawings on top of your paint. That can be really fun. And I think that's it for this one. This is the warm color study. Oh, let me add a little. Oh, that didn't do too much. It's a bit light on light. Sometimes that's fun to do. Adds a bit of interest in your light areas. Oh, that looks nice on top of the really light color. It's still a little wet, so that didn't go on so well because the Neo colors are water soluble, so it will just kind of spread out a little. All right, here's my earthy one with just the Mayan blue. And our warm one with just the rhodonite. So now I want to try a study using all four colors. Get the page started with some pencil marks. And let's get going. Let's see. All right. Really pretty pastel orange. That's the quinacridone burnt orange mixed with buff titanium and a lot of water. Let's make that pretty deep teal color again. So there is the blue and the orange next to each other, the complementary colors, so they look really beautiful next to each other. Just keep playing around with the different colors and mixing up different shades. More blue, more orange, less orange. Let them touch and merge. If you make dots like I just did in wet paint, they will spread. If you wait until it's dry, you'll get polka dots. I'm just playing with different mixes here, so I mixed that more of the quinacridone burnt orange into the blue, and now I'm adding more blue into the same mix to get that pretty olive green that I liked. You can play with how dark your paint is and how light your paint is, because that changes the look too. And so these color studies, you see I'm just kind of doing abstract blobs and marks, but you can do color studies with flowers or leaves, really anything you want to play with, whatever you like painting, you can do color studies with those. Just remember not to look for perfection. It's all about play and exploration. You're finding colors that you love, you're finding marks that you love without worrying about creating something. That's the trick. Try not to think about creating a finished piece. Just be in the moment and play with the colors you have, play with the different marks you want to make. And now I used brushes for all of these color studies, but you don't even have to use brushes the whole time. There's ways to put the paint on the page with different objects. So things like palette knives and bubble wrap and paper towels and all kinds of things. And so if you're wondering about different marks you can make on a page without using brushes, I do have a free 30-day challenge called Explore Mark Making. And I just go through, there's a whole prompt list, and every day I show you a different object to use to make marks with. It's all black and white, so it's easy. You don't need a lot of supplies. Most of it is household objects, so it makes it really fun. So if you want to join that, just look in the description below. There's a link to join Explore Mark Making. I'd love to have you. So there's some of the Mayan blue genuine just on its own next to that pastel pink and that green, and I love that color combination right there. Like I could make a painting just with those three colors. And so I'm just adding different colors next to some of the other colors I have just to see if I like what they look like next to each other. So that green does look pretty next to that pastel pink. If I went straight into a painting without doing a color study, I would feel a bit lost. And when you're feeling lost when you're trying to create something, that's an easy way to get stuck. And I don't want to get stuck when I'm trying to paint. I want to have fun with it. I want to experiment with it. And so as much as I experiment in these sketchbooks and I just play and get in the moment, that's what I try to do when I'm painting as well. And so color studies help me get into that space because I already know what colors I am going to be using, at least an idea of it. So with these color studies, I can see, okay, well, I definitely want to use this color, and this color. So I can have those colors available on my palette before I start a painting, and then that takes a major decision piece out of the creation of the painting. So I don't have to think about the colors I'm doing. Instead, I can just have fun with it and start making flowers or an abstract with the colors that I have, and I don't have to think and stop and pause and think, oh, well, maybe I should add this color to it, or maybe I should add this color. Instead, I can just keep painting. So I like the colors in that little arch there. The light color blue that I'm doing next to the light green, next to the light tan, next to the coral color. That would make a really nice palette also. Probably with the Mayan blue in there to give it a little value contrast. All right, let's add some marks on top of this paint. It is a bit wet, so let's see what I can do with it. I do like that. I like the pink on top of the green. I chose that spot to add that color because it's next to the orange. And so the complementary colors look good together, and it looks interesting next to each other. I like that a lot. Here's kind of a rusty orange. So that looks interesting on top of the orange, also on top of the blue. So that's also good to know. And there, it looks okay, but it's not my favorite color combination. Also good to know. So you can draw things on top with your marks too. And so I actually do like that, the green on top of the peachy color. That's a good color combination. Yeah, I like this right here, that section. And I like, I like the pink on top of the green and those leaves on top of the peach. That looks really nice. Let's see, I'm gonna add just a little bit more. You can keep going on these studies as long as you want. Keep adding different colors and mixes. Oh yeah, see, so I love that dark olive color on top of that pink. That looks really good. I think because the value contrast from dark to light, I like that a lot. And it actually does look good on top of those neutral colors too. I'm playing with some lines. That's okay. I probably wouldn't do that again. And there's some light. I like the light on top of the dark as well. So play with that too. Light on dark and dark on light. All right, so there's all 4 of the colors blended and played together. Here's the warm palette using the Rhodonite and the cool palette using the Mayan blue. Thanks for joining me today. I'm all about helping you grow your own creative practice full of peace, intention, and curious exploration. Find out more when you visit jenfletcherart.com. I'll see you soon.